Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the headlines.
Lives taken in such an unspeakable way. Mourners filled the church and lined the streets of Maguire's Bridge to remember a mother and her 2 children killed a week ago today.
A woman full of kindness and warmth, a friend to so many, and her children so young, so vibrant, so full of promise.
Another woman with a stoma tells UTV of her embarrassment at having to lift up her dress for security at Belfast International Airport.
And is the gondola gone? Plans for the cable car in the Mournes are rejected by the Environment Minister.
Also tonight, Wayne Rooney arrives on the North Coast to see his son Kai play for Manchester United.
I'm proud to see him playing for Manchester United, and just hope he goes out and enjoys the tournament, because I know I did.
And our weather set to stay rather settled for the next couple of days, largely dry, but 1 or 2 showers around. I'll have all of the details later with the forecast.
Hundreds gathered in County Fermanagh earlier today for a special service for Vanessa White and James and Sarah Rutledge, who were murdered in Maguire's Bridge a week ago today.
During the service at St Mary's, the priest, Father Raymond Donnelly, said that the lives of Vanessa and her children were taken in an unspeakable way. It's believed that 43-year-old Ian Rutledge, who died in hospital on Monday from gunshot wounds, murdered his own family. Sarah O'Kane reports.
The tragedy we have endured has shaken this community and country to its core.
Abide with me.
3 coffins, a haunting picture of what happened here a week ago today. 45-year-old Vanessa White and her 2 teenage children, Sarah and James Rutledge, were shot dead at their home on the Dromere Road. Ian Rutledge, the man suspected of murdering his own family, died in hospital on Monday. Both the White and Rutledge families attended the service of removal at St Mary's as this community gathered to comfort them.
We are left shocked, grieving, heartbroken, searching for meaning, grappling with questions too deep for words. The loss of Vanessa and her 2 beautiful children, James and Sarah, lives taken in such an unspeakable way, is more than any heart should bear.
First Minister Michelle O'Neill and former First Minister Baroness Arlene Foster also attended.
A woman full of kindness and warmth, a friend to so many, and her children so young, so vibrant, so full of promise. Their laughter rang through school corridors, through playing fields, especially on the GAA pitch, where they thrived with passion and joy. That zest for life, their infectious energy, their open smiles. We take a moment to thank all the first responders and medics. Thank you for your service under unimaginable circumstances.
James and Sarah's school friends and teammates from both local GAA clubs formed a guard of honour as the 3 coffins were carried out of the church to start their journey to County Clare. Vanessa, a devoted mum and respected vet, is originally from Bearfield. All 3 will be laid to rest there on Saturday. But today, Maguire's Bridge came together to say goodbye. A Fermanagh farewell. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live, Maguire's Bridge.
A woman who has lived with a stoma since childhood has told UTV about her distress and embarrassment when she was asked to lift up her dress by security staff at Belfast International Airport.
Claire McCorry contacted us after we reported a similar incident involving another woman earlier this month. An airport spokesperson said it is fully committed to ensuring that all passengers can travel with comfort and dignity. Claire McCorry has had a stoma since she was a child. She's travelled extensively during her professional life, but says her stoma has only ever been an issue at Belfast International Airport. The first instance was while passing through security in July last year.
They had already patted me down and I'd already said, look, I have a stoma, you're going to feel it. Then they just, after patting me down, went, well, we need to see it. And it was that kind of tone. And I initially was so gobsmacked because it's never happened to me before. I went, no, it just felt so ludicrous to me.
Claire was then taken to a space she described as being like a storeroom.
When I was standing facing the second lady, and at that point I just had to lift my dress. I knew I wasn't going to fly unless I lifted my dress. So I was so distraught. I cried for the entire... I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get on the plane. And when I got on the plane and arrived at my destination, one of my colleagues thought somebody had died. I was just devastated by the whole thing.
Just a few months later, in October, it happened again.
This time they wanted to... I was wearing jeans and a top and they asked, could they lift it? And I said, well, you can search me, but if you can do it without lifting the top. I didn't mind them feeling in around my waistband, but I didn't want them lifting my clothing. So she wasn't happy with it, so she took me off again. But there were two senior security people there, and one of them was definitely involved in my first incident. I've had my stoma from when I was 12. But there are people who are just coming to terms with it. And I do know people who don't want to fly because they're afraid of this type of thing. And I've always been it's fine, you don't, but it's actually sometimes not fine.
Claire decided to share her experience after UTV reported on a similar incident involving Rhonda O'Neill earlier this month.
When I seen Rhonda's story, I think I actually was so angry. I was really upset. It really upset me again because it brought me back. But I was so angry because I feel I've learnt nothing.
In a statement, Belfast International Airport stressed everyone must go through security screening and that it regrets that any of our passengers have had an upsetting experience, saying it remains fully committed to ensuring all passengers can travel with comfort and dignity. The spokesperson said the airport security provider, Wilson James, has a dedicated programme of ongoing disability training, including stoma awareness training, and in August 2024 it implemented next generation screening technology. Claire had raised concerns about the use of CCTV. In response to this, the spokesperson said this is in place for the safety and security of passengers and staff and is disposed of in line with GDPR procedures. The Environment Minister has rejected proposals to build a new gondola project in Kilbrony Forest Park.
Newry, Mourne and Down District Council recently announced plans to move its controversial cable car plans to the park. However, campaigners had criticised the plans. Daniel Duffy has spent the day in the Mournes.
Gone with the wind. The proposed gondola that had been earmarked for Newcastle but then switched to Kilbrony Forest Park in Rostrevor will not go ahead after the Environment Minister Andrew Muir said he couldn't support the proposal based on the potential impact the project would have on environmentally sensitive areas.
Rostrevor Forest and the wider area has a number of important designations, and I have to take that into account, but also I have to take into account the value of this to the local community and the numbers of people who would come into the area as a result of the Council's proposal.
Campaigners are pleased that the proposal is not going ahead.
It's a great triumph for common sense. That's very encouraging. I think, as in the case with the Council, the advice given by professionals to DAERA or indeed to the Council is sometimes not all that it could be.
Kilbrony Park is used by local people and tourists, and the reaction to the news was mixed.
Why would you want to spoil this beautiful countryside that you have here? That's my take on it anyway.
I'm not surprised. after what happened over in Newcastle. I'd say it was always going to happen here as well.
I personally don't think a gondola would be needed here. I've walked up to the stone myself, yeah, but that's the opinion of someone who's been here for 48 hours.
There's probably bigger priorities to spend money on at the moment in the economy, but I don't know.
I think it's sad that it's not going ahead, because I think it's lovely to have all the extras in a place like Rostrevor and promote it, because it's so beautiful. I love it.
In a statement, Newry, Mourne and Down District Council said it remains committed to securing the £30 million regional city deal investment for the district and is actively exploring other options. So the gondola is gone and another nearby tourist attraction is under threat on the other side of the Mournes. Sport NI has begun a strategic review into the future of the Tollymore National Outdoor Centre. The move comes after the centre generated around £250,000 last year, while it cost over £1.3 million to run.
The Tollymore Centre means an awful lot to me. I met my wife here and such like, and now I'm here bringing my own children to the outdoors. So the centre means an awful lot to me, yes. There's an awful lot of uncertainty. It's been closed for a prolonged time and a plan needs to be put in place on how that is going to reopen. The longer this is closed, obviously like anything, the harder it is to open.
In a statement, Sport NI said it will explore all options for the future operating model of the centre. In the meantime, the move will result in a small number of local redundancies. Daniel Duffy, UTV Live in County Down.
A councillor has told UTV that lives could be at risk after nitrous oxide canisters were found at the side of the road in the Spa area of County Down.
Alan Lewis said it has been an ongoing issue with canisters being discarded in hedges, also known as NOS or laughing gas. If inhaled, it can cause serious health issues. Here's our South East reporter, Stuart Robson.
Have like a black nozzle on the top, and if you look through the grass and through the hedgerow, you'll find the balloons which they then attach. And
these balloons aren't for a party, but are part of a problem. Once filled with nitrous oxide, a potentially lethal gas, they lie discarded by a rural roadside. Alongside them, large canisters, after being thrown from passing cars.
This stuff has been found lying along the side of the road, be it 1 or 2 tins at a time, but more frequently it's found in larger quantities of 6 tins, 10 tins. People in the Spa are really concerned that this stuff is hazardous, it is dangerous.
Also known as laughing gas or NOS, how easy it is to buy online is causing concern. Inhaling the gas is illegal. The government made NOS a Class C drug several years ago under a clampdown on its misuse. Back then, it was the 3rd most commonly misused drug. That means possessing it and using it for the wrong purposes is now a criminal offence under a law that dates back to 1971. Do you think it's time now that those laws should be at least looked at to be updated?
There is reason to take a look at making sure that if you're caught with this, if you're caught supplying it for those purposes of misuse, that you should face a tough sentence. There should be there's repercussions because you're putting people's lives at risk.
Often used by medics as an anaesthetic or pain reliever, its recreational use can have lasting implications.
Chronic use can cause even more serious problems, in particular long-term nerve damage because of its effect on some of the vitamins in the body. Pure nitrous oxide is very dangerous because it contains no oxygen at all that the body can rely on. So people who are to use and breathe pure nitrous oxygen or use it in a very confined space are at risk of asphyxiation.
This issue hasn't given local residents much to laugh about. A warning for users to stop or face the consequences. Stuart Robson, UTV Live, County Down.
The brother of Paul Topper Thompson, who was shot dead by the UDA in Belfast in 1994, has died. Eugene Thompson had just last week received a hand-delivered apology from the Chief Constable in recognition of police feelings in relation to his brother's case. An appeal by the Secretary of State at the Supreme Court to prevent further information into Paul's killing being released is still ongoing. The Committee on the Administration of Justice said Eugene's death underscores the human cost of a system designed not to deliver answers but to delay and deny them.
The utility regulator will carry out a fresh consultation around payments to customers who were impacted by severe weather conditions. After Storm Éowyn, NIE applied a severe weather exemption, which meant that payments could not be made to many households which had been left without electricity. The time frame for consultation will be announced in October, with a decision expected next March.
Business leaders across County Fermanagh have appealed for the Department of Health to support rural healthcare needs. It's after the Western Trust paused its consultation into the permanent removal of emergency general surgery from the South West Acute Hospital. In their statement, the group of businesses welcomed the pause, saying meaningful engagement is needed in the local community. The son of a Ballymena care home resident who died in hospital has told the UK COVID-19 inquiry that he has never had closure. Gregory McQuitty's father, Ivor, died in May 2020 with coronavirus, aged 84. He gave evidence today as part of a module probing alleged failures in social care settings across the UK during the pandemic. Well, Sarah McCarran has been following this story for us. Gregory was described today as an extraordinarily brave man by the chair.
That's right, Paul. He paid tribute to his late father. He said that he was the best man that he ever knew, honest and hardworking. And he was tearful at times because he said because of the way that the restrictions interrupted how we normally say goodbye, he hasn't ever got to say some of these things out loud before at all. No wake, no handshakes, no stories told. And this was so abnormal, he says, it felt like an open book that's just never been closed. And one devastating failure that was exposed in his testimony today was that communication with the home during such an uncertain time was virtually non-existent.
I called down and there was just a sign on the door. No explanation, no phone messages, no emails, nothing.
Were you ever able to see your father again after that day?
No.
Did the home separately provide you with any information about how they were going to deal with the pandemic?
No. You had to contact them. There was no effort from the home at all.
And Gregory actually didn't get to talk to his father again after that either. Because Ivor had Alzheimer's dementia and wore 2 hearing aids, he would neither have heard a phone call nor understood the principle of a window visit, because he wouldn't have understood why his loved ones were able to wave at him but not come in and talk to him. And it was a very tough experience for Gregory, outlining all of this, but he said that any son given the same opportunity would have done the same. And we'll hear more on this module tomorrow. The closing statements in the 6th module will be heard tomorrow at the inquiry.
Sarah McCarran, thank you very much indeed.
Well, it's time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV news at 6:30.
With all the details, here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme. Bidding farewell to their favourite bad boy. Fans gather in Birmingham for the funeral of the Black Sabbath star Ozzy Osbourne. Tsunami warnings across the Pacific after a powerful earthquake off Russia sparks fear and evacuations. And under attack by donkeys, the New Forest residents who've learnt to dread Bin Day. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
People in Northern Ireland watched more live broadcast television than in any other part of the United Kingdom in 2024. The findings are from the latest Media Nations report from Ofcom, and James Stinson is from Ofcom. James, what were the most watched programmes here then last year?
Well, there was a real Christmas theme to the most watched programmes last year. So we had The Grinch on Netflix was the most watched programme, but there were a couple of dramas thereafter. There was things like Blue Lights, which is a popular locally made and situated in drama, but there were other movies there like Home Alone 2 and what have you. So a real Christmas feel. Gavin and Stacey special, that was also in the top 3. So yeah, a lot of family moments around the TV around Christmas, obviously.
So how does this part of the United Kingdom differ from the rest?
Well, I think despite the massive amount of choice that we have now as viewers, so we can watch content on streamers like Netflix and Disney and video sharing platforms like YouTube, the lion's share of TV viewing in Northern Ireland is still to traditional broadcasters, the likes of UTV and the BBC. So we spend something like 4 hours and 50 minutes in front of screens every day, but nearly 3 hours of that is to traditional broadcast TV like BBC, UTV. So we have a real affection for local voices, local news and views and programming that reflects what's happening on people's doorstep back to them.
Now, just in a nutshell, you mentioned there streaming. That has changed quite a lot, hasn't it?
Streaming is extremely popular. I think Netflix and Disney are or Disney or Amazon Prime, one of the SVODs, they're all in around in at least 2/3 of homes in Northern Ireland. But also this year we've seen a big rise in the number of people and the amount of time people are spending on YouTube, which is a really interesting development. Of course, younger people are more likely to consume content on that platform than they are those other ones that we've talked about earlier.
All very interesting. James Stinson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sport now, and Linfield are back in Conference League qualifying action tomorrow night. David Healy is hoping the supporters will help his side, despite the club being fined €12,000 for spectator misconduct in Champions League qualifying against Shelbourne. Healy says it's a small minority and believes it's a cultural problem within Northern Ireland. Here's our sports correspondent, Ruth Gorman.
The start of the new league season may be over a week away, but already champions Linfield have been in full flight this summer. They've had 3 games already in Europe. The 4th is tomorrow night against FC Zalgiris here at Windsor Park. The away leg was 0-0, so Linfield have a big chance to progress from the second round qualifying. I've been speaking to manager David Healy earlier today. Where do you believe this squad can go in this tournament?
I think we've got a good squad. I think where can we go? I think we've given ourselves an opportunity to win this round, so we'll need to perform. We'll probably need to improve on our performance last week. I think we've improved game on game. It's an opportunity to win a game at home. We should have a good crowd. Can we get the crowd right behind us tomorrow night? Generate an electricity around the ground that's going to lift the players when we're going to need it lifted tomorrow night.
You've obviously had difficulty with a small group of fans recently.
We've been at our wits' end because, again, as a football club we have tried everything, but it's always disappointing when you get to the European stage or league stage when we're still going over old ground in terms of generating money in Europe and then basically giving it back with fines. So there's always very, very small percentage, a small minority who have caused us issues in the past, but general society in Northern Ireland and the culture in Northern Ireland is a difficult one at the minute, where you're trying to keep everybody on a level footing. It can be a challenge in us as a football club. I think we've done more than most to try and eliminate it.
You've had many big nights here, but European nights are special, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Again, one thing that we do have, and I hopefully be going back that up tomorrow night, we've always been pretty strong at home in terms of performance and results.
If Linfield do get through second round qualifying, they'll face Faroese opposition in the next round. But all attention is on FC Zalgiris tomorrow night here at Windsor Park, as Linfield aim to do something special in Europe this season. Ruth Gorman, UTV Live, Windsor Park.
A footballing superstar was in Northern Ireland last night. Wayne Rooney just happened to drop into the showgrounds up in Coleraine.
Yes, he was there with his wife Colleen to see their son Kai play for Manchester United's under-16s in the Super Cup NI. Will Esler has been speaking to United's record goal scorer.
The Super Cup NI has always delivered the stars of the future as the biggest clubs in the world descend on the North Coast with their youth teams. Back in 2000, a young Wayne Rooney was playing for Everton's under-14s in the competition. Just 4 years later, he'd be playing for England at the Euros.
I loved it. I remember the disco at the end of the tournament. That was good, I enjoyed that. But no, I ended up playing centre-back in one or two of the games as well. So I've got great memories of being around my teammates in the hotel we stayed in. So overall, yeah, really good memories.
Last night he was at the Coleraine Showgrounds along with his wife Colleen to see the next generation of the Rooney family, his son Kai playing for Manchester United against Rangers.
I'm obviously proud to see him playing for Manchester United, and just hope he goes out and enjoys the tournament, because I know I did. It was something which is certainly stuck in my mind and my memories for the right reason. So if he goes and enjoys it, then I'll be happy.
And Rooney wasn't the only famous name in the side. Michael Carrick's son JC was also playing.
They grew up together. JC and Kai have been in Man United's academy for a long time together, so it's great to see them growing up together, and developing together as well, and not just them two. Obviously, there's a lot of kids in the team who've all been there for a long time, so it's great to see them all playing together, and we're starting to see them getting into positions where, you know, hopefully if they can go on and become professional, you hope you'll see them play.
United won the match 2-0 to make it 2 wins from 2 in the competition. They face County Tyrone in Ballinmoney tonight. Will Essler, UTV Live at the Korean Showgrounds.
Just time for the weather.
Here's Louise Small.
Bringing the warm sunshine outside, inside. UTV Weather. Sponsored by the Grande Rona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. It was a largely settled day, plenty of bright and sunny spells, 1 or 2 showers, but we will hold on to quite a lot of cloud over the next few days, remaining rather settled through into the weekend. Occasional showers at times, some bright and sunny spells, but as we move towards the start of next week, it could become rather unsettled with some windy weather, but keep an eye on the forecast for further updates. At the minute, we have high pressure out in the Atlantic. It's influencing our weather, keeping things largely settled. 1 or 2 showers, never too far away, but for the most part it should stay largely dry as we move through Friday and Saturday. This evening it's a largely dry picture, some clear skies in places. 1 or 2 showers will start to filter in from the northwest through the early hours. Temperatures holding up between 13 and 15 degrees Celsius in towns and cities, but in the coldest rural spots they could drop a few degrees lower. Tomorrow gets off to a mild start for most, some bright and sunny spells through the first part of the day. Variable amounts of cloud, a scattering of showers filtering through from the northwest. Winds staying generally light, but across the coasts we could see them pick up. So a gentle breeze from a northwesterly direction. Temperatures slightly fresher than today, highs of just 19 or 20 degrees Celsius. Across the rest of Ireland, there's more in the way of clouds. Start the day tomorrow quite murky, some low cloud and hill fog. Brightening up into the afternoon, 1 or 2 showers possible, and temperatures reaching highs of 22 degrees Celsius with a gentle breeze. Looking ahead then for the next couple of days, largely settled through the weekend, some dry and bright conditions on Friday and Saturday. We can expect some rain on Sunday, but it should clear through by the afternoon. Monday looks rather unsettled. We could have some windy conditions on the way, but stay up to date with the forecast.
UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grande Rona R290 heat pump.
Well, that's just about it this Wednesday, the 30th of July. Trudy Smith will be back with our late bulletin at 10:30.
The ITV News continues now with Mary Nightingale, but from Rose, me and everyone here on the UTV Live at 16, have a very good evening.
Good evening.